guys, welcome back. So today I am in my kitchen. It's still a little bit cold outside and kind of gross, so I am in my fuzzy sweatshirt. And yeah, we're gonna start cooking. Also, if you hear any toe taps in the background, that's either Sunny or Penny, and they're my little co-chefs today. So today we're going to be making some easy recipes in quarantine, just a couple snacks that I like and hopefully you guys will enjoy too. Peanut butter and chocolate chips, and then strawberries with either Cool Whip or sugar. So let's get started. For the chocolate chips and peanut butter, I'm just using the Nestle Toll House semi-sweet chocolate chips, and then just some smooth Jif peanut butter. It's my favorite kind. I don't like chunky. If you like chunky, you can totally use that and you'll have some more flavor with the peanuts that are added. So to get started, we're just gonna open this. There's a little tear line, so it's pretty easy. Just open it a little bit more so you can get more out. You're not gonna put your whole spoon inside, but I do like chocolate chips. Then you'll just open your peanut butter like normal. And you can either put your peanut butter in a bowl if you'd like to and then sprinkle chocolate chips, but my favorite thing to do is grab a spoonful of peanut butter. I really like peanut butter, so I've got a lot. And then you just sprinkle the chocolate chips on top. Like so. You can even place them if you want. That's why I've got peanut butter already on my fingers. And these aren't like the healthiest recipes, but I really enjoy them and they're still really tasty. And a couple spoonfuls goes a long way, so don't think that you need to like have like 10,000 spoonfuls of peanut butter and chocolate chips. So yeah, here is the finished product. And for the second one, the 2-ingredient recipe, all you'll need is strawberries and either sugar or Cool Whip. So I just have strawberries from the grocery store. Nothing special, just a couple. I usually cut about 6, that's just what I like. I just cut them into halves. And then I have my sugar here. Just in a little bucket, and I just use about a tablespoon of sugar when I'm doing this. And then my dad and I are actually obsessed with Cool Whip, so we have the giant Cool Whip and we will like load on heaps and heaps of spoonfuls of Cool Whip just because we love it so much. Okay, so I don't have my tripod ordered in yet, so I'm just using this as a stabilizer. But I've got my knife and I've got my strawberries and we're just going to chop them. Just in half, just like that, easy enough. Throw them in my bowl, and today I'm using a cute little like mug cup that people use for like soup or chili or even cereal. It's like a dorm mug. They're super big. Sometimes I use them for my tea or coffee too, just because I'm obsessed and love having enough to drink that'll last a while. And we're just gonna keep chopping and throwing them in. So we've got all of our leftovers here, our tops. We're gonna just put them to the side. You can actually start making a garden with these by using compost. So I've got my cute little mug here. I'm gonna put my knife down and grab a spoon. Okay, so if you want the second ingredient to be sugar, I just grab a spoonful. This isn't very much just because we are low on our big spoons. So I'm gonna just grab 2 spoonfuls and voila, it is done. Now, if you're wanting Cool Whip, you literally just pile on Cool Whip. For me, I like to have strawberries at night with Cool Whip, and in the morning, if I want strawberries, I'll usually do the sugar trick. But I will just show you both for now, and you definitely do not need to put sugar and Cool Whip on at the same time. I'm just doing this because. So a good spoonful is good. Since it's morning, I don't want to be too crazy. I like to lather mine in there, get all the strawberries covered. And then you've got a tasty snack. Okay, so for this next recipe, it's not 2 ingredients. It is a little more challenging. I mean, it's not challenging like at all, but there are more steps and more ingredients. So we're going to use 3 cups of quick oats, 1 cup of smooth peanut butter, a 1/2 cup of honey, and a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. Once again, they're my favorite, so I had to do a recipe with chocolate chips. So let's get started. Okay, so for this, I am going to start out with my oats. I'm just opening a container, and we are using 3 cups, so if some spills over, it's not that big of a deal. Hopefully there's 3 cups available in this small container. I realize it's kind of tiny, but that's okay. And these are gonna make a lot because we are going, once we finish this and mix it all together, we are going to roll them up into balls. So they are honestly little protein, like no-bake snacks, which is pretty cute. I love protein cookies, and I've also tried to make no-bake cookies, and that has honestly not worked for me. I always mess it up each time. So yeah, that hasn't been super fun. Now we're gonna just get some peanut butter. I don't really like putting sticky things into cups because it really bothers me, and it's super hard to wash out. And I know that kind of sounds a little like OCD or a little like nuts, but I really don't like it. I don't like sticky things in general, so when I grabbed that honey container, it actually had honey all over it on the outside, and that really bothered me. I don't think it's a pet peeve, I just think it's something that I don't really like, which is totally okay. So this looks about right, I guess, a little bit. So I'm gonna use that same spoon and scoop it all out. Oh, this is so gross. I mean, it's not that gross, but like, for me, it's hard to like get it all out, so I might use a spatula even, just to like help in that process. Oh, it's so sticky. I didn't realize peanut butter was that sticky. So I actually have a spatula right here. Easy enough. And just get it off of there. But then the other problem is that it just sticks right onto the spatula. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to help. And I don't have a mixer, so we will just be hand mixing this. Well, we do have a mixer, but I am honestly not sure where it is, because I am at home right now, so this is not my current living space. Which has been a little bit challenging for me. So because I'm in college, I was living on campus, and this next year, I hope we are going back to campus in the fall, but everything is kind of just unsure for right now. But I was supposed to be getting an apartment with 2 of my really good friends, and I still hope we can. So we might be baking actually a lot, which will make me really happy. This is like one hobby I enjoy doing. I just don't have enough time to do it while we're in school, or honestly, since I have lived in a dorm, we don't have like a kitchen that I would like to cook in. It's fairly small, with, you know, dorm housing and everything. I cook a lot of meals with my boyfriend in his apartment, which is very fun. He loves cooking and I love baking, so I feel like that's like the perfect duo. But yeah, I am just at home right now cooking, and our kitchen's okay, but if I had a dream kitchen, I think, honestly, nobody likes white kitchens, but I feel like I would want a white kitchen. There's just something really classy about it. And then of course have accent colors, probably some blues and maybe some yellows. Okay, so this looks like it'll be enough honey. Honey goes a long way, so that's really good. Okay, and then we're gonna just pour it in. So if I had to have a kitchen that I would like love, I think it would definitely be white. And then I love subway tile. I don't know about you guys, it's definitely like a bathroom sort of thing, but I think it is super cute in kitchens as well. This is just getting everywhere. But yeah, a subway tile, and then for a sink, I have always wanted a farmhouse sink, like one of those really deep ones that is also white. Okay, so next we're gonna sprinkle in some chocolate chips. I don't wanna use that cup because it's dirty, and like I said, I love chocolate chips, so the more the better, right? Sometimes you don't need to follow all the exact steps, which is definitely okay to me. So then I was gonna use a wooden spoon, but I'm actually going to use one of the big spoons that we do have. And we are just going to mix it together. There goes all the pretty honey and peanut butter. This is almost like our two-step ingredients with the peanut butter and chocolate chips. However, now you just have 2 more ingredients. So really, really not hard to make. And my proportions might not have been right, or I need to just keep mixing. That's something I've noticed I need to do recently, is just keep mixing and really getting it in there, because it looks right now that it's not mixing very well, but in the end, it will come out all together. And like I said, we're going to make these into little balls and put them on a pan with parchment paper on it. And then stick it in the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you can eat them, just so that they set up. But if you want to keep them in there longer, just because it is the fridge and not the freezer, and if you're not going to eat them right away, then you don't really want them to stay out, because then they'll get all squishy again. So this next part, you will have to use your hands to make little balls. So it is going to get messy, so roll up your sleeves and we'll get ready. But I'm gonna add a little bit more honey, just because some of these oats are not sticking. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that honey is a good alternative to sugar, like just cane sugar. So I think these are pretty healthy and they look delicious. Okay, so now to get your hands a little bit messy. And these can be however big or small you want them. It really doesn't matter, it's up to you. They're definitely good for on the go. And I know right now we're not really going anywhere, but it's a good alternative to just eating cereal in the morning or oatmeal or eggs. It's still really healthy for you and delicious. So I'm just rolling them up into balls and placing them on my already lined pan over here. I'm also making these for my family. So my dad's still working. He's not gonna like these. He's not a big alternative kind of person. He's good with a banana and coffee for breakfast sort of thing. And then he'll be on his way out the door. But my mom loves making, she doesn't make them herself usually, but she loves having different alternatives to eating. And she's doing a Weight Watchers plan, which I think is really awesome and motivational, go mom. And she can count these in her program, and I'm not sure how much they would count for, so don't get me on that, but I know she's been baking a lot, well, not baking, but cooking a lot more for alternatives, which has been really cool to see her do, and I'm really proud of her for that. So I think she will like these protein balls. That's what I've going to be calling them, protein balls. I mean, they've got some protein. I'm not sure how much protein peanut butter has, but I mean, I know it's somewhat, but I'm not sure. But she actually owns her own store, and she likes to sleep in some, so she doesn't really eat breakfast. And if she does eat breakfast, she'll eat it at the store. So I feel like these might motivate her to eat at the store and get up there on time and everything. I mean, she's always on time, but this would be encouraging, I think. And when I told her I was making these before she left today, she got really excited and told me to make a double batch. I don't think we will need a double batch, just because it looks like this made a lot, and I'm going to eat some of these, but I'm not going to eat all of them. And a lot of this is sticking to my hands now, so that's kind of look like a monster a little bit, but that's cool. Okay, and here is the final result. I started really small and ended very large down here. So that's okay. They're still gonna be delicious and nutritious. Like I said earlier, you'll want to put them in your fridge for 10 to 15 minutes. So here we go. Okay, and then this last one, the nature of it being a little bit more challenging and takes up a little bit more time, I've got my iPad here to help me along with the instructions, and I've set my frying pan, I'll just show you really fast, just this size, to medium heat on the stove. Probably shouldn't have lifted that, but it's cool. So I am condensing this a little bit just because I don't have as many apples as planned, but I have got 2 apples that I plan to use. And it says that we first need to cut the apples into like cube sizes, so relatively like small. So I'm not very good at cutting almost anything. I mean, I cut the strawberries in this video, but apples are a little bit more challenging. So we're gonna see how this goes. Okay, so this might be a total disaster. I'm not really sure. I mean, that went pretty well so far. You definitely want to take out the core and all the seeds. So I just like to chop it down into halves and then fourths, and take the seeds out that way. And you've still got some, so not too bad. And then when we're going to start cutting them into even smaller slices and, well, not slices, but cubes and chunks. Pretty much the term was chunks. So I'm gonna go with it like this because I've never like chunked something before. I don't even know if that's like a verb, but it doesn't look too bad. And I'm gonna just place them off to the side. And once we read our next step, then we will get ready. I believe after we cut them, we are going to put them into that skillet with 2 tablespoons of water, which isn't very much. And then I think it cooks for about like 5 minutes on that medium heat. And we're gonna stir it a little bit, and the water will like get absorbed through doing that because of the heat. So that'll be nice. So they'll be like a little bit tender. And then I believe we're cooking this with coconut oil, and I do not have coconut oil, unfortunately. Surprisingly, my family has like coconut oil spray, like how you'd spray your pan with butter, but it's coconut. I think coconut is like a good substitute to butter, because I looked up substitutes for coconut oil, and it said to use butter. And I know butter is like something that people try to avoid because of the fats inside. So I'm assuming using butter will be all right. It'll just be a-okay. And then we're probably gonna be stirring that around as well. So I'm gonna just finish cutting up these apples, and then we will add them to the pan. Okay, so we've got all of the apples diced here. Now we're going to put them in the pan. It's low heat, but I'm sure you can hear it sizzle. You might be turning it a little bit lower, just because this is taking some time, and I've got quite a few apples here. And look at them. Okay, so I've added in my 2 tablespoons of water. The water is just being absorbed. And we're gonna cook these for about 5 minutes. So we're wanting them to get a little bit soft, but not too soft. And we're just gonna be stirring them and stirring them. And then the next step is that we are supposed to add 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, but instead I have butter. So I'm still gonna add just 1 tablespoon of butter. And that'll just coat the apples, and we'll also probably cook that for about 5 minutes, stirring every minute or so. We'll want the apples to be soft at this point, not right now, but once we stir in the butter. The recipe suggests that we can even cover it for the last 2 minutes, and it'll cook right on up. Okay, so at this point our water has been absorbed, and the butter is now going to cook in, and we will coat the apples, and they'll be getting softer. So we're just mixing it. It's smelling really good. You can see the steam come off these apples. I have a feeling it's going to be very delicious. Now these are cinnamon apples, so if you're allergic to cinnamon, this probably will not be a good recipe for you. But I'm really excited to eat these and enjoy them. I'm hoping it'll kind of be like the cinnamon apples from Cracker Barrel. Those are literally my favorite. I know that makes me sound like a child, but I love them. They're so good. Okay, the next part of this recipe calls for maple syrup. It said a tablespoon, but I'm gonna add just a little bit more because I love maple syrup. And we are just going to mix that in. Ooh, an apple flew out over here on the side. It's kind of smelling like pancakes. Not really, but that's okay. Next up, we're going to add in our cinnamon. We'll see how this amount does so far. I didn't really get too much in there, and the recipe calls for only a teaspoon, which is kind of a small amount. And I really like cinnamon, so I'm going to just add some more to this recipe. Okay, that was a lot. That's okay. It's experimenting and it'll still taste good, and since I love cinnamon, it should be pretty flavorful. I like to get all of these apples coated as well, so that'll really help. It does make them look like they're burning even though they aren't. So it smells fantastic. It's almost like a fall recipe, so doing this in the spring is a little funny to me, but it smells so good. Okay, and then this recipe calls for a dash of salt, so I literally have a tiny amount. And then it also calls for vanilla extract, and I don't have that, so a good substitute is almond extract. And I'm gonna just do a little dash, because almond will definitely change the flavor a bit. I made some cookies a couple weeks ago with my cousin over FaceTime, which has been really fun. So these should taste good too. I'm actually going to turn the stove off, and they can kind of just chill out here. No, I dropped an apple. Boop. Okay, so now I've pulled off the apples from the stove. They're just chilling in their little pan. But one good thing you can do with these apples is put them in your oatmeal if you'd like, and then you've got that actual natural apple cinnamon flavor, which is one of my favorite oatmeal flavors. Or you can just eat it plain. It's still going to taste fantastic because you have all the elements and ingredients that I just showed you guys. I love cinnamon and I love apples, so this is one of my favorite snacks. But thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoy your quarantine snacks.